Welcome everyone to What the Force, and welcome to a special, hopefully fun episode of What the Force. I'm Marie-Claire Gould, your host, and with me is my co-host, Liam Rathgeber. Welcome, Liam.
Hello again.
And today we are discussing Headcanon, and we're going to do something a little bit different and fun because Liam is a
casual fan,
which unfortunately is slowly changing over time through osmosis with the rest of us, and just being involved in a chat conversation that's constantly going on about Star Wars, and seems to find out stuff before I do sometimes now.
Like toy spoilers.
Yeah,
because
toy
I just
spoilers.
happen to be wandering through Toys R Us, even though I'm the only host without kids.
It's because Toys R Us is still functional in Canada.
Yes.
And is not.
And I do have nieces, so I need to be a bad influence on them.
Star Wars is not a bad influence.
No, but uncles are.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So today we're going to be talking about, again, headcanon. And headcanon is usually, or at least the Urban Dictionary definition of it is, an idea or belief or aspect of a story that is not mentioned in the media itself, but is accepted by either the media consumers themselves or the fandom in general. And if it is confirmed by the creators of the story, it then becomes canon. So I have searched the internet for some I found very interesting headcanon, but we're going to do something a little bit more tricky for you, Liam, because
I have specifically not searched the internet.
Yes.
And not done any research into headcanon or fan theories or anything like that. I have avoided this topic since we discussed this episode before this podcast was actually a thing.
Yeah, we brainstormed about ideas before this thing even took off, and yeah. Thank you for your commitment.
Oh, I've got all sorts of Marvel stuff to read about. I'm good.
So to make this a little bit more tricky, I've actually included one piece of real canon in amongst the fake canon.
Well, I have stated on this show that I do love me a red herring, so let's see if we can go find it.
And then at the end, I'm going to ask you, what was the real piece of canon? And so I would like to just shout out to the subreddit Star Wars Cantina, who helped me with this, as well as the Holocron Society on Facebook, who also helped me with some of these really cool things that they either had been thinking about or lots of people have been talking about, because they noticed these oddities and it fills in the gap quite well. You ready? Oh yeah. So we're going to go through each of them and then maybe discuss them a little bit, make fun of them, because
I'm good at that.
Yeah. and then see which one was the real one at the end. Okay. So, first one. On Endor, giant creatures exist that are hunted by Ewoks. And those creatures are the reason why the Ewoks knew how to set traps for the Imperial walkers.
That would improve the story. I think I like any headcanon that actually deepens the story and maybe fills in a couple of plot holes.
Yeah.
But with the thickness of the the density of the forest that they're living in, I'm not sure that large creatures like that would make their home in that sort of environment, because usually the larger creatures on Earth anyway, elephants, rhinoceri,
giant sloths when they existed,
they tend to keep more to the plains, because then they're able to move around.
There's enough space for them.
Yeah.
Right? Like they fill the space that they're in, and yeah. No, that makes sense. But I mean, the walkers have enough space to walk around in to play, devil's advocate on this guy.
They did, but they were certainly out of their element.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't, and we have no proof of this other than that there was, giant contraptions previously set up.
Yeah, they were already there.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in how the Ewoks got those giant logs up there.
I mean, they built their villages on top of trees.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose it's like building the pyramids. They'll find a way.
Yeah. fuzzy hands will find a way.
Yes, I'm also interested in who the woman was that they killed in 8, I'd assume, before they could give Leia that dress in the end there, because she didn't have that with her when she landed.
Yeah, or like they weirdly stitched it together, or maybe they have like some sort of plant that grows fabric. I don't know. It's Star Wars.
But there was already a dress.
Yeah, it was already a dress. It was already a Leia-sized dress.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So maybe we should rate these. What do you think of this headcanon?
Well, what's our rating scale or system going to be?
I don't know. What do you feel like?
Like, are we going to rate it somewhere between
plausible, unplausible?
Attack of the Clones to Rogue One?
No, it should be something. They're all beautiful in my mind. Okay. Like, plausible, not plausible, maybe. Just simple.
I would put it as plausible, but a reach.
Okay. Changing my rules.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Number 2. As referenced in the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan and Satine, when they were young, had, a fairly torrid romance.
They had relations?
They had relations. And so Obi-Wan saw the signs of Anakin being romantically involved and kind of turned a blind eye.
I would buy that one pretty much 100%.
Okay.
Because I didn't see all of the Clone Wars. I saw probably 3/4 of it, but I haven't seen it all. I will one day. I can hear people yelling at their iPhones right now. But I will see it. I just haven't had the opportunity or the availability for it. But from what I saw, and in the live action movies, Anakin and Padme weren't exactly sneaky.
No.
But for the most part, Obi-Wan was the only one that would have been available to see it, other than the droids, really.
And he's always constantly commenting in the Clone Wars, like, where's Anakin? Isn't he supposed to be?
Yeah. Yeah, like he's kind of making jokes about it, but so it's fairly obvious that he was aware of what was going on and chose to allow it. Mm-hmm. And having that justification that he's been through this situation himself and came out of it a good person and still still on the Force or on the side of light. I could see that he was saying, okay, well, he's just going through this same
phase.
Thing. It's just, it's something we all go through. He didn't know that things were going to go the way they went.
That they were full on married.
Yeah.
And like having babies. And I mean, he is surprised when Padme's like full on pregnant and he's like, Anakin,
wait a minute.
Is Anakin the father? I'm so sorry. It's like, what?
But no, I would call that one 100% plausible.
Okay. I'm going to put 100%. You're creating your own freaking scale. I had to put an
plausible.
asterisk next to the first one. All right. In The Last Jedi, there are these purple robed attendants in Snoke's throne room. And they're not there when the Praetorian Guard fight happens, but they're there in like the first scene. Mm-hmm. Those are alien navigators that help him navigate the unknown reaches of space.
Yeah, I'm not buying that one. That I don't know. That seems to be pushing that. I think it was a deep fan of Dune that maybe came up with that one.
Yeah,
but I think that they were just attendants. They were there to attend to Snoke.
Not plausible.
Not plausible.
Not plausible. Okay.
It's Star Wars. Everything is kind of plausible,
yeah.
But I don't think that's the thing.
Okay. No, that makes sense. All right. Anything else you want to say about that? Did you notice the purple dudes?
I probably did, but I spent much of my youth getting hit in the head, so I don't recall seeing the purple dudes.
Yeah.
But I mean, like a gold robe and purple robes, they go together.
Yeah, I know. And Snoke is in his slippers and his golden robe.
Yeah, his first name is Hugh.
They could have been like fan holding fans and feeding him grapes and stuff. Who knows? We did. That's off scene. This was in the scene that that Kylo is electrocuted with his, like, he takes off his mask after and he smashes it. It's in that first scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, take off that ridiculous thing.
Yeah. Oh. Little boy in a mask. Me.
My grandpa wore a mask and he was cool.
Yeah. He was cool.
Yeah, he made asthma scary.
All right. General Hux
Hugs.
has an orange and white cat named Millicent.
Now, this is one that I've heard before, I'm pretty sure from you.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of the context around. Oh, because the Kylo slams his head down into Millicent's litter box, his helmet down into the litter box.
That, like, what looks like kitty litter.
Well, I have heard that what he's slamming his ridiculous helmet into was actually the ashes of his fallen enemies.
Yes.
So I don't believe that was the litter box, but Hugs totally seems like a cat person to me.
He totally seems like a cat person.
And he also seems like the type that if he had a cat, would name it Millicent.
Yes, because it's not like a nice name.
No, it's perhaps the sort of name that a former headmaster of Hogwarts would give to her cat.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure one of them was named Millicent.
I'm sure. Oh, man. Yeah, I love the idea that, like, this megalomaniac psychopath has a cat. Like, I love this idea.
Yeah, I'll
so since you know that, like, this has been out there on the internet, like, this was all generated because somebody asked Pablo this, and he's like, yes, and that was the kitty litter for General Hux's cat Millicent. But it has not been disproven yet, and they kind of went with it, and there are now, like, Star Wars branded Millicent toys.
I would like to see that one confirmed, but in a way that's so subtle that most people like myself might not notice.
Yeah.
Like, if they put out a lot of Star Wars comic books.
Yeah.
If they have one where they go into Hugs's quarters at some point, and just tiny in one corner of one frame, you see a cat sitting on the couch.
Oh my God.
And it's just in the background. You have to be looking for it. I would love that sort of confirmation on this.
That would be amazing. Or like Star Wars Resistance, the new cartoon that they announced. It's about them it's about the Resistance spying on the First Order. So, like, if they're undercover and they're with the First Order and somehow they discover this, or like it's offhanded mentioned, like, just randomly, I would love that.
Well, yeah, because it's such a dumb headcanon.
Yeah.
That I would love it to be, even if it's confirmed to be one of those Easter eggs that just takes forever to get discovered.
But it would just blow up the internet. Like, I feel...
Oh, as soon as someone noticed it, yeah, they'd make sure that was ruined for everybody. But I would love to see it subtly disclosed as true.
Like, even off frame or on frame, but like background in, like, out of focus,
or in like a sweeping shot.
Yeah,
that you have to pause it, so it's not going to get discovered until it's out on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
and you know that people will go through and pause frame by frame.
No, people can do that now with PVRs and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, that's true, but the Blu-ray comes out first.
PVRs?
It comes out on Blu-ray before it comes out on TV.
No, but like if it's on like Star Wars Resistance, the TV show.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm back.
Okay, cool. All right. So we've had a lot of post Return of the Jedi canon come out recently. There's been, comic books and a whole bunch of stuff, including Last Shot that was released. So here's one. Han made Leia keep the slave outfit.
Well, if she didn't keep it, then how would Kylo have had it? Call back. I wouldn't say made her keep it, because I'm not sure that Han could make Leia do anything, but I could definitely see him strongly encouraging that it become part of her wardrobe. Like
her hanging on to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Either that he like made sure she kept it by keeping it himself and like showing it to her, or that she kept it herself and he was like, yeah, that's super sexy. Call me Jabba.
Ooh. No, that went to the wrong place. But no, I would totally buy that she had it for a while.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There was some craftsmanship there. I mean, there's not a whole lot of metal bikinis out there that I know of. I haven't gone looking.
It's pretty good.
I've seen the actual one. James and I went to Star Wars Identities years ago.
Oh, nice.
And they had a lot of the original props, and because it wasn't made of something soft like for instance what Jabba the Hutt and Yoda were made of, so they just dissolved away. The bikini was actually still in pretty good shape.
Oh, wow.
Jabba and Yoda were basically just eyes and a weird
like the foam they
subskeleton.
used was not the foam that
it wasn't
lasts.
made to last
Yeah.
because they didn't think at the time that these would be worth anything in the future.
But they kept the molds, which was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Props to the Lucasfilm archivists who literally keep everything now in like pristine order.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one. Lando moved to Bespin to have more space for his capes.
I am going to say that I do not think that is plausible, because when you're in space, going to a planet is going to give you less space.
More closet space for his capes.
I don't think Lando needs a whole lot of closet space. I think Lando has maybe 3 to 5 good capes, and it's all a matter of what he pairs them with and how he accessorizes them.
You have not seen that Star Wars special where he walks through his cape closet on the Falcon, where he has at least 20 capes.
Who needs 20 capes?
Lando Calrissian.
Okay, plausible then.
Okay. I'm writing this down. Oh, yeah. Wait, Slave Leia?
Oh, yeah.
Plausible?
I'm not
okay.
sure which one of them was the
But
catalyst
they
for
kept
the keeping of it.
They kept it.
I believe it was a conversation that was had, and they mutually kept it. It was kept.
Like, I really liked to see this outfit. It was really good, really nice.
Perhaps Leia didn't know that Han kept it until she got home early once. Because, rogues sometimes want to feel pretty too.
I need that fan art. I need that art.
I don't.
Fan fiction writers, get on it. All right. Hera. Ooh, I like this one. Hera, who is, the captain of the Ghost Rebels.
Okay.
Yep. Wait, this is a spoiler for you. All right. This is a spoiler cast.
If the show is more than 6 months old and I haven't seen it, it's my own damn fault.
All right. So at the end of Rebels, we find out that Hera Syndulla had a child.
That was only 2 months ago. Spoiler.
Named Jason Syndulla, the child of her and Kanan. Okay.
Okay.
So setting expectations.
Okay.
And the reason why Hera wasn't involved in the Battle of Yavin 4 was because she was in labor.
The timing would, I think, be somewhat convenient for her to be actually in labor at that point. But as was stated on The Walking Dead last season, you can wage war up to the second trimester. So perhaps she was just in advanced pregnancy.
I mean, piloting, they don't even allow you on planes after 35 weeks.
Yeah,
or
but there's
something
not
like
a whole
that.
lot of pressure changes in space.
Yeah. But there's still G's. We've seen that.
Yeah.
G-forces.
Oh, I get what you mean for G's.
Thanks.
We were going back to the bikini.
Oh.
I don't know. I think it's a bit of a reach. I will give it partly plausible.
Oh,
I could see that the pregnancy was a contributing factor, but it's time to go to war. My water just broke. Nah, that's making an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on when the end of Rebels was compared to the Battle of Yavin 4, and we don't really know So
I know I don't.
we know at some point Kanan and Hera got it on. But who knows how long Twi'leks are pregnant for?
13 months.
How do you know that?
I just make up numbers sometimes. But you actually thought I knew something.
I was like, how do you know that?
Liam knows something.
Implausible. You implausible. You don't know anything.
86% of statistics are made up on the spot.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say about Hera having a baby?
Jason was actually spelled J-SONN and is properly pronounced Jason, and he goes on to be Peter Quill's father.
No. It was Jacen.
I like mine better.
Yours is funnier.
Well, with Disney owning both.
I know.
And sure, they wrote it with the whole ego thing, but in the comics, Jason was Peter Quill's father.
No, I know. Before he became Ego.
No.
Like in
Ego was just his father for the movie. Jason is his father in the comics.
I know.
Okay.
I meant Ego. They changed it for the MCU.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Sorry. Yes, I like comics too.
I wonder how Ego would have stood up against Thanos.
Oh man, an entire planet that can control reality. It's pretty cool. He was kind of a god, and Thanos is kind of a god. It would be kind of like a god versus god. Is that why Thor is the only one that can kill him?
Well, if he'd aim for the head.
I know.
Spoilers.
What a slacker.
It was a new weapon. He wasn't used to its heft. It doesn't fly like a hammer.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyhow, that was a bit of a tangent.
Okay. The green kyber crystal that Luke crafts his second lightsaber out of is actually Qui-Gon Jinn's, which Luke found in Obi-Wan Kenobi's hut when he returned to Tatooine to find Obi-Wan Kenobi's journal.
You're giving me the stink eye after that. Like, what do you think about that, huh?
I just really like this one. Mm-hmm.
Now, is there anything established that... Okay, because at the end of Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan uses Qui-Gon's lightsaber to take out Darth Maul. Mm-hmm. And it never is shown that he loses it, because otherwise he would be a hypocrite when he constantly makes fun of Anakin for losing his.
Yes.
So I can see it being plausible that he would still have the lightsaber. Why would Luke harvest the kyber crystal out of the lightsaber from somebody who is somewhat legendary instead of just using the lightsaber if he could get his hands on it?
Might not have known, right?
Free lightsaber. I'll just
make it boom.
I could not picture
he only
Luke
knew
Skywalker disrespecting a lightsaber like that.
For those not in the room, he just threw the lightsaber behind him, mimed through the lightsaber behind him. Don't add him.
The what?
It's a thing.
That one's got a lot of detail to it.
Uh-huh.
It's not just a little something that people came up with.
I'm trying to be like,
You're trying to give me the headcanon as it is. What's the sort of time frame that they're saying that Luke went to Obi-Wan's hut? Was this...
It's in the Star Wars comic. He went after A New Hope.
Okay, yeah, because he needed it after he loses the blue lightsaber in order to have the one that he had for Empire.
The hut is eventually burned down by Boba Fett, but not before Luke retrieves things from the hut. They just do this really cool flashback with Obi-Wan Kenobi's journal, where he's like this weird hobo on Tatooine.
Well, and in the interim between A New Hope and Empire, Luke is on sort of a learning journey. Mm-hmm. I could see that as plausible, because I'm not sure that as part of his somewhat truncated training that Luke would have learned about the harvesting of kyber crystals. So he might have just...
I don't know. R2 knew, because R2 went with Ahsoka to Ilum for the gathering.
That's true. But I mean, with everything that R2 knows, he obviously wasn't communicating a whole lot to anyone else.
Luke didn't understand R2 until later on when they were traveling the galaxy together.
You mean after he got the green light kyber crystal?
Yes.
So then if R2 knows, it doesn't matter, does it?
So how did he find it?
I could see that as plausible. I could see that as a justification for how he how he knew to find a crystal and possibly gave him an opportunity to dig into a lightsaber. Maybe it wasn't working anymore and he could figure out the workings of it to craft his own. So I could see that as being a plausible explanation for...
Like it could have gotten broken in the years between The Phantom Menace and A New Hope.
Yeah, he was using it as a nutcracker and just,
I mean,
it
yeah,
shorted some stuff
Obi-Wan had really lost his way a lot.
So yeah, I'll say I can see that as being plausible.
Okay, cool. Asajj Ventress
Mm-hmm.
was reborn on Dathomir through Force magic.
I didn't know that Ventress died, so there's that.
There's a comic.
I'm a giant comic nerd, but I don't actually read any of the Star Wars comics.
You really should. They're amazing.
I've heard.
Vader down. Just start with that, and then you'll be addicted to everything.
From the limited knowledge that I have of Ventress, I can see her dying, air quotes, the same way that Darth Maul dies,
Yes.
air quotes, that she can get right messed up and just through the power of
Pure hatred.
I believe it's referred to in the Old West as gumption, drag herself back together again and continue surviving. So I don't see her being reborn. I could see her being rebuilt.
Oh, yeah. Like, kind of like how Savage, Darth Maul's brother, he ended up kind of being beefed up because he was kind of a wimp through the witch magic of the Dathomir.
I'm not sure that she was reborn through magic. I could see her still being alive, but not the old Ventress because she was messed up through whatever it was that happened to her.
Yeah.
So I could see her being, I'm going to say not reborn. The word reborn is disqualifying that one for me.
Maybe saved.
I think she was alive because I don't think Ventress is one of those ones that could be killed in one try. I think she lost a life maybe, but she had 2 more guys. So
She's kind of like a cat.
Yeah.
Maybe she got 9 lives.
So I'm going to say implausible to the being reborn, but perhaps being $6 million man and
with like force magic.
They can use. They can use whatever terms they want. It's technology and whatever else they happen to be using. But I don't think she actually died, not having any clue to the context.
Okay, great. And the last one, and then we'll discuss. The last one is Padme didn't die of sadness. Palpatine sucked her life force to save Vader.
Okay. Died of sadness was such garbage. I mean, the only way to make that scene worse would be to have Jar Jar run in and make a fart joke.
Piusa.
She died of a broken heart. Maybe if something had physically broken her heart, I would buy that. But no. No, she did not die of a broken heart. That's just
sadness.
no.
She's so sad.
I'm so sad. I'm going to die. No.
Yeah, so like it was some sort of evil Palpatine bullshit, and like, I mean, like Vader probably should have died from what he went through. Although your point about Ventress,
he's got some gumption.
He's got apparently all of the Dark Force users have gumption.
Yes.
That is what keeps them alive.
Yeah, gumption and cookies. That's what the dark side has.
It's powered by gumption and cookies. I love it.
The light side is better, and they always win because they've got cake.
It's true.
But the dark side, gumption and cookies.
It's enough to get you through the day.
Yes.
I mean, really.
Vader's wounds were cauterized thoroughly.
Yeah, it's true. And like you can survive worse burns than that in the real world.
Yeah, he was
just really pissed off.
Yeah.
Gumption.
Gumption. But no, I think, well, I haven't watched the prequels in a long time, and I don't intend to do it again. But wasn't Padme injured somehow or attacked immediately before giving birth?
I mean, like, Anakin did choke her. Force choke her out, and she passed out.
That might have been a contributing factor.
Maybe.
Once he gets all Vadered up, it's kind of his favorite move.
I know, it's totally his that and offering the galaxy to people.
Yeah,
that he loves.
So
just those two things.
I think she might have died of a broken throat.
Medically, the medical droid says medically there's nothing wrong with her.
I would like to run a diagnostic on medical droid.
Fair enough. So plausible, not plausible.
Not plausible.
Not plausible. Not plausible that she died of sadness?
No.
Okay, but plausible that she got her life force sucked out of her.
I can, yes.
Yeah,
so
okay.
yeah. Headcanon plausible, movie not plausible.
All right. Now for the tough part. Yeah. All right. Which of these wonderful headcanons is actually canon?
Now, the one that is canon.
Yes.
Was it already canon, or is it headcanon that has been confirmed and made canon?
It was already canon.
It was
at this point in time when we were recording this, these are all headcanon except for one.
Because if it was headcanon that has been confirmed and made canon, 100% I would have said Millicent.
It's not officially canon yet.
Yet.
I mean, I want it to be. I mean, that was my easy, volleyball serve up to you. That was really easy. You could set that one really easy.
Of those, and I'm kind of disappointed that we did not cross the headcanon of the reason that Obi-Wan in the original trilogy didn't remember half the stuff from the prequels was because he was actually Obi-Wan, the clone of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, tell me that one.
That's
we're waiting.
Basically all I know.
Okay, fine.
But that he didn't remember because he was a clone and the actual Obi-Wan Kenobi had passed on at some point.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you the cloners took his DNA while he was visiting.
Well, he got in a fight. He probably
he left blood all over the place.
Bit of DNA lying around.
They were totally cloning that Force guy.
Yeah, as long as he took a shot inside because it was raining pretty hard that day.
No, because he came in and out and he was dripping blood. Oh my God, the Camino cloners totally cloned him.
And that's Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Old Ben.
Old Ben
is a clone who remembers quite a bit because Obi-Wan told him quite a bit, but he doesn't remember everything. But of the ones that we have covered, I will say the green kyber crystal coming from old Ben's hut because Obi-Wan left it to him.
I feel like I sold that one too much for you.
It had a lot of detail to it.
Well, it's because I know a lot about the comic, but no, that one is not actually correct. Would you like to try 2 more times?
I'll try one more time.
Okay.
Giant creatures on Endor.
Although there was concept art, not actually canon.
Well, I guess I'm still just a casual fan.
I know. Would you like to know which one is actually canon amongst these beautiful selections that you've experienced today?
Sure.
All right. Snoke's navigators are actually alien navigators that help him navigate the unknown reaches of space.
I thought they were attendants.
Well, they're called attendants, but they're navigators. And it's in the visual dictionary.
So not the bikini then?
No, we don't know. And it's not even mentioned in the last shot. I feel like they should have opened a closet and seen the bikini. That would have been amazing. It's 3 years after Return of the Jedi.
Well, except that we know that Kylo has it in the
the
later ones.
We don't know
so
that.
what would be great is if he opened his closet and then he took the brass bikini out and he's like, "Is this an orange cat hair?"
Confirming so many headcanons at once.
Has somebody been borrowing?
Amazing. Now that the fun has been had, let's discuss headcanon and like why it's cool and why do people like doing this?
I think a lot of times either things just get left on the cutting room floor, movies get cut for length, and sometimes
there's lots of concept art and concept ideas out there.
Well, there's a lot of quality that gets cut, and that's why the geeks generally are waiting for the Blu-ray or what have you to come out so they can watch extended cuts and they can watch
the deleted scenes and all of the director commentary about what they were thinking when they were thinking it.
Yeah, because it fleshes it out even more. Getting all of that is akin to reading the book because it lets you go quite a bit deeper into it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times when things are hinted at but not actually said, people want to fill in the gaps. And a lot of the time, the concepts, which in a lot of cases a lot of people come up with independently, improve the original property.
Yeah.
I think the original headcanon that I remember, like if I'm thinking back, the first one that I can think of that got major traction was in the movie The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery.
Yeah.
That Sean Connery was actually James Bond in that movie that had been captured, and that's why somebody else had taken over the mantle of 007 and the name of James Bond, and he was left to rot in this prison, and that's why he was so skilled, because they give his name, which I can't remember, but James Bond is a code name, so it didn't actually have to be James Bond, and it all they ever said was that he was a highly trained SAS agent.
Yeah. Which could have been James Bond.
Could have been James Bond. And the skill set and the abilities that he has throughout kind of sell that. And that, like that concept, I remember watching the movie. I saw that in theater decades ago when it came out. And then hearing that and then seeing it again afterwards. And the movie was so much better because it's Nicolas Cage and James Bond fighting their way through Alcatraz.
That's a wicked movie. I need that movie. Yeah, and like for me, headcanon, as silly as it can sometimes be, i.e. Millicent, like is in some ways super fun. Like the 501st in a way is headcanon, right? Like they named the Legion Vader's Fist and, it became this whole thing and then it took on a life of its own. It's the fans adding to the story, and some of it is out there and some of it is just more on the speculation side because it's future forward facing. But I feel like because it's transformational and in some ways weird and fun, it reminds us that, hey, this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Well, and you take something like the 501st that have since been recognized by LucasArts and folded into canon. So they have they have grown the property which they love. And I mean, there was that's kind of a new concept. That it used to be people make a movie, you watch the movie, you love it or you hate it, and then you move on with your life. And now you can actually influence where it goes,
which is bizarro.
Because
man,
the creators are
listening.
They're listening. Twitter has been a huge thing for that there's now this direct line to these creators, and they actually pay attention to it and can guide their properties to fit the way that the fans are making it make more sense.
I think that they tend to not like guide the narrative that they're telling so much. I think that at least especially at Lucas, they tell the story that they want to tell, but they do add in these like nods. It's like icing or like, special decorations that help the fans feel more connected with the properties that they love. Like, like people might have wondered, hey, what happened to Saw Gerrera? And they brought him back, and they brought him back into Rogue One, and they brought him back into Rebels to like tie that together, and bringing back Ahsoka has been like the hugest fan, like not fan service because she's an amazing character, but like fan acknowledgement that they have loved her so much through all her journeys.
Well, you have to think that if that character hadn't gotten the sort of reaction and the sort of love that she did, would she have ever been brought back?
I don't know. I mean, they changed her so much over the course of Clone Wars that it really changed. Like people who were annoyed at her at first saw her journey and appreciated that journey as something that was reflective of maybe all humans' journeys, in that like she was an annoying kid at one point and now she's a fully competent and capable adult.
Yeah, and she's been through some stuff.
She's been through some stuff.
Over the course of that, went from being basically the worst character in the series to, in my opinion anyway, the best.
I mean, yeah, she had a fabulous journey. I still think that like Matt Lanter's Anakin and D. Barker Bradley's Rex are fabulous.
Rex. I've been trying to remember that name for like 2 weeks.
Rex, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I love Rex so much. He's great. I think he's up there as my top favorite. Like
he was
characters.
A very good character, very well written, and the voice actor was spot on.
Considering he had to do like
he had to differentiate
Yeah.
between all of these characters that are all exactly the same but different.
Yeah, D. Barker Bradley would record an entire episode as one clone's voice, so he would stay in it and then switch to the different clone to do the separate ones.
There's no way that you could play a role like that and not be like at least a little bit method about it.
Yeah, exactly. And considering like D. Barker Bradley is mostly known for his animal noises, because like he's literally all of the animals in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And like he's known for these animal noises, but like he did these clones so well.
Mm-hmm.
He's the reason the clones worked.
Yeah.
Back to headcanon. So is there anything that like is a personal headcanon of yours that you've like filled in the blanks for Star Wars?
I don't think I've come up with anything for Star Wars that hasn't already been come up with.
Yeah.
There are a few that I buy into.
Okay, what's your favorite
like the one
ones?
with I like the concept of Obi-Wan as a clone.
Oh yeah.
I think that
cool.
one, it's kind of a cool thing. It brings some of the prequels into the original trilogy in a bearable way, and it fills in some gaps and it makes some things.
That could be the Kenobi movie.
It could be.
Whoa. That would be. I mean, it'd be really cool.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I mean, I'll watch every Star Wars movie that comes out. And even the shows once I have the right channels for them. My
personal new favorite is, mainly because I invented it and I snuck it in here, is Lando moving to Bespin to have more cape closet space. Because I saw that he had this massive cape closet. And in Last Shot, Han describes the Millennium Falcon as a maniac's immaculate cape museum. And I was like, yeah, he totally moved to Bespin to like have like a cape room.
I saw that video had come out of the tour of the Falcon.
Yeah. I'm wondering, like headcanon is just such an interesting thing. And I encourage people to fill in the blanks, but then not get disappointed if their headcanon gets disproven, because it kind of creates mental flexibility to know that the creators are still creating and things could change over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people will come up with new chapters to stories that aren't the direction that the story goes, and then they'll resent the story for not going the way that they wanted it to. Mm-hmm. And I've encountered that sort of thing before, where people are they've decided that this is where, in role playing games.
Yeah,
I've had times where somebody decided, another player had decided to write a side story about their character and my character, and then got upset with me after the following game because I wasn't following their canon. And
did they even share it with you?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, it was unnerving.
Oh. Well, like I'm cool with that sort of thing happening, from an RPG perspective at the table. Like if I'm like, oh, hey, remember your girlfriend is totally mad at you and she's totally going to break up with you. And you're like, I had a girlfriend. Okay. And then you just roll with it.
I will totally roll with implied backstory.
Yeah.
But once the game is already up and running and somebody else writes your character.
Oh, no.
Like that's the thing. And what you're doing with headcanon is you're writing someone else's characters.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And-
or like plot points,
Yeah.
or
And-
interactions.
In a lot of cases, yeah, it maybe is better than what actually does come out. Or, in the thrilling moments, it actually becomes what's coming out.
Oh yeah.
But no, let the creators create. But that's not to say don't create on your own.
Yeah, and I think that's the transformational nature of headcanon creates some mental flexibility, because you're going to be disappointed at some point because you're not going to be able to guess what's actually happened. But it is fun, and it is fun to like kind of fill in the blanks, and it can be quirky and silly, like Millicent, or like the Darths and Droids guys who have this massive webcomic where they've basically redone the whole saga as it is a role-playing game. And so things seem to make more sense because the players are like filling in the blank, like, oh, suddenly we're on this water planet that is like this, because it's like a preteen that's explaining and coming up with all of the planet details.
So the Death Star being taken out by a single X-Wing, that was just a natural 20.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And like, who's the ruler of this planet? Oh, a teenage girl who really likes to dress up. Like, it all makes sense.
Yeah, from a role-playing
game perspective.
Oh.
Yes, I highly recommend Darths and Droids. It is hilarious. It's been going on for 11 years. That's some commitment.
Mad respect to that.
Yes. You've been an excellent co-host in putting up with my headcanon fines. Slave Leia? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Kylo,
Slave Kylo.
Slave Kylo. So this is a challenge to the listener. I want to hear about your favorite headcanon.
And where can they send those, Marie-Claire?
They can send those on Twitter at WT4 Show.
That would make for some short headcanon.
Well, you can do multiple tweets. Did you not know that? You can do extended long tweets.
That's true.
Yes. I want to know people's headcanon. I find it super fascinating. Or, feel free to post it in the Star Wars Cantina Reddit, subreddit.
Post them on our Facebook page.
On the Facebook page, which is What the Force on Facebook.
Yeah,
I don't know these
Look
things.
for our logo. Search What the Force. Look for our logo with our little emoji heads.
Yes, our little emoji heads. You have the best sunglasses in that emoji logo now.
That's because I have the best sunglasses.
It's true. And the best mustache.
I cannot... the sunglasses are my weakness. If I see some weird ones, I have to have them.
Or you can leave a comment on this episode and let us know what your favorite headcanon is on our site, whattheforce.ca. Yeah. Thank you, Liam, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me again.
Do you want to well, you're welcome anytime. And do you want to let people know where they can find you other than here?
Other than here.
While
you're in your podcasting app, you can find my podcast, which is called A Story Not Forgotten. We do have some fairly exciting episodes coming up. I recently recorded a super jumbo episode at the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo. I went around and interviewed quite a few of the vendors and artists and that, and got everyone's their favorite convention stories, which was really fun. After that, I have Karen Lech, who is a very talented artist and musician. And then the episode after that, I actually recorded an episode with cosplaying icon and absolute one of the sweetest people I've ever met. Jessica Negri is coming up.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And I've worked with her a few times, and she is just wonderful. So
I saw the pictures. It was you seemed like you were glowing.
I was pretty happy.
It was better than your Will Wheaton poster or picture.
Oh, my accidental Will Wheaton picture. Yes.
It was an accidental Will Wheaton picture?
We were just talking, and the photographer's like, hey, look up here. And he looked up, and he's a professional, so he had his getting his picture taken face on. I am not a professional.
You do look like a little bit of a weirdo in the photo.
Yeah, because I look totally normal the rest of the time.
It's true, yes.
But we do have some exciting stuff coming up. You can also find me at my business, or the business in which I am a partner and an anthologist. is called Capturing Legacies, and you can find that at capturinglegacies.com. And you can find the pretty pictures that I make at trathoriginals.com, which is TRATH Originals. And go to trathoriginals.com or find Trath Originals on Facebook or Trath on Instagram, where I actually have more followers than posts, and I do not have a lot of followers. For a photographer, I am terrible at Instagram.
And you're also on Twitter.
I'm also on Twitter, but I can't remember my handle right now. I think it's at Liam Rathgeber.
It is at Liam Rathgeber.
There we go.
Which I always put in the liner notes whenever you're on the show. So
at least one of us remembers.
Yes, people don't have to look very far. I am Marie-Claire Gould, and my Twitter is Marie C. Gould. You can reach out to us on Twitter. You can follow the show. Please leave a review on iTunes. It helps people find the show or whatever podcasting preference you have, or don't. You know, I'm pretty lazy myself, but if you enjoy the show, we do appreciate it because it helps other people find it.
Mm-hmm. And people seem to be enjoying the show. This show is getting some legs under it.
Yeah, so thank you for listening. This was kind of a fun episode that Liam and I had been talking about for a while. We might do it again when maybe Solo is been out for a little while and people have come up with some new headcanon based on it.
We should make it an annual.
Oh, annual.
Our annual headcanon episode. Our annual headcanon spectacular.
Our annual headcanon spectacular. I would say that this is like the first annual headcanon spectacular.
I will take that.
Okay. I'm gonna put it in the liner notes that this is the first one. And then we'll see if it ever happens again.
Of many.
Oh, yes. We have to make that happen. Yes. It's a thing now. All right. Excellent. Thanks again for listening and paying attention. Cool. You're all cool. I like you all. Cool.
I am fond of you as well.